Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Jessica. We are the hosts of the AiTME podcast. This podcast was written and created by Avi Melamed, Middle East intelligence analyst and founder of the Inside the Middle East Institute.
ITME is dedicated to apolitical, non-partisan education about the Middle East.
Is normalization between Israel and Syria actually possible? Especially now with Ahmad al-Shara? You probably know him better as Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, heading things up in Syria. We're going to try to unpack the challenges, which are, well, deeply entrenched, and see if maybe pragmatism could somehow win out over ideology. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, and I think what's crucial to grasp right from the start is that these hurdles, they aren't just about al-Jolani or any specific regime. They're structural. They're ideological, geopolitical too. It's all deeply woven into how Syrians and really the wider Arab public see things. It's about beliefs and, unresolved conflicts going back generations. Genuine normalization is, well, it's almost culturally off the table unless some very specific external things happen.
So to really get a handle on this, we need to start with what analysts always point to as the big red lines, the non-starters for normalization. Issues such as the Palestinian question, and the whole issue around the status of the Golan Heights. Everyone agrees these are the major sticking points.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is just how powerfully these issues resonate across the whole region. There's this 2025 survey from the Arab Center for Research and Policy Studies, and it gives you some stark numbers, like 84% of Arabs surveyed reject normalization with Israel, and 76% see the Palestinian issue as a cause for all Arabs, a pan-Arab cause. So this isn't some fringe view, it's the dominant feeling by far.
Okay, that survey does paint a really stark picture, but hold on, there's a really vital piece of background here. We absolutely need to mention something that might, change how we look at those numbers. This ACR survey, it was done by an institute based in Qatar, and its CEO, Mr. Azmi Bashara. Well, he's a former Israeli Arab member of parliament who actually fled Israel after espionage accusations were leveled against him, and he's known as a pretty strong anti-Israeli commentator. So understanding that context where the survey is coming from, that's really crucial for you when you're thinking about its take on regional sentiment, right?
No, that's a very fair point. And that context helps explain why normalization is often seen, well, not as natural, but as an exception, often pushed from the outside rather than something growing organically. It's kind of a deeply ingrained perspective for many.
Yeah, and you hear this from commentators to people like Ahmad Kazem Hussein and Bashir al-Bakr. They stress that just changing the regime in Syria doesn't magically fix these obstacles. Bashir al-Bakr put it bluntly. He said something like the Abraham Accords, they brought zero progress for Palestinians, actually harsher Israeli policies. And he added for Syria, the absolute most you could even discuss is going back to the 1974 disengagement line. That's the ceasefire line from the Yom Kippur War. He says full normalization is just unrealistic without Israel making concessions.
And that reflects a broader view among Arab intellectuals. Any kind of normalization without major concessions from Israel, it's just seen as surrender or worse, betrayal. It's a core belief, really, that goes beyond who's in charge.
Okay, so let's bring Ahmad al-Shara into this. His background is rooted in Salafi jihadism, which is a strict fundamentalist branch of Sunni Islam often linked with extremism. Salafi jihadism is not only hostile toward Israel, but also hostile toward Jews. That's quite a challenging starting point if you're talking about normalization.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, despite those deep roots, al-Shara has shown some signs of pragmatism since taking power. You can see it, his focus seems to have shifted maybe towards regime survival, consolidating power locally, and interestingly, a desire for some international legitimacy.
So, okay, even with this potential tactical pragmatism you're describing, actual public normalization still seems extraordinarily unlikely. What you might see, perhaps, is more like non-engagement, rather than any formal deals or handshakes.
Exactly. Which raises an important question for you to think about. No matter who leads Syria, you're going to have strong opposition from the public and the elites. The obstacles aren't just surface-level politics, they're deep in public opinion, regional dynamics all reinforced by ideology, and just decades of conflict. Well, the prospects for Israel-Syria normalization look extremely slim.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
This podcast is made possible by supporters like you. ITME is an independent nonprofit institute committed to apolitical, intelligence-based Middle East education.
To learn more or to support our work, visit our website www.insidethemiddle-east.com